Welcome. My name is Daniele Forlino. I'm a lecturer of Italian at SMU, and I'm delighted to be presenting an Italian masterpiece for this year's edition of the International Film Festival. This week we have a busy agenda with 3 films representing 3 different languages. The first, as you know, is Rome Open City, an incredible and monumental work that we have selected to represent the festival's theme of resistance. To introduce Rome Open City and to guide a bit your appreciation of this masterpiece, I will focus in this brief introduction on the historical context and aesthetic relevance of the film. To understand the historical context of the film, we need to go back to the years of the so-called Italian resistance and liberation between 1943 and 1945, when, in the middle of World War II, Italy's fascist leader, Benito Mussolini, was dismissed after having been in power for 21 years. And the Allied forces started their campaign of liberating the Italian population with the aid of Italian partisan forces. The film opens with the Nazi occupation of Italy, depicted in all its brutality, and in clear opposition with the partisan forces that comprised the CNL, the Committee of National Liberation, formed in Rome on September 9, 1943, 2 days before the Germans occupied the city. The CNL consisted of 6 anti-fascist groups: the Christian Democrats, Communists, Liberals, Democratic Labour, Action Party, and Socialists. Although it was in the north that large Italian partisan forces were formed in the course of 1944, Rome is emblematic of Italy's liberation, since it was here, as well as in northern Italy, that for the 4 main groups, the Communists, Socialists, Christian Democrats, and the Action Party, they worked together in a considerable harmony. They did not dwell on their different visions for the future, but were concerned only with defeating Nazism and fascism. And here we might see a parallel with the Risorgimento that led to the unification of Italy during the 19th century. As we know, the German Army Corps in Italy surrendered to the Allies on May 1st, 1945, before the end of the war in Germany itself, and in December of 1945, Italy acquired its first Christian Democrat Prime Minister, Alcide De Gasperi, who served in this role until 1953. Communists were members of the government until 1947, and in these early days after the war, both communists and Catholics were prepared to share power with each other and with other main parties. A popular referendum was held in 1946 to see if Italians wanted to remain a monarchy. The referendum gave a clear but not overwhelming victory to a republic over the monarchy, which led to the creation of the ultra-democratic constitution that was signed on December 22nd of 1947. All of this is important to understand why a film like Rome Open City is considered the cinematic offspring of the resistance, and why the style of the film, often referred to as neorealism, represents in part the partisan hopes for social justice in the post-war Italian state, and allowed filmmakers and audiences to see an Italy that Mussolini had concealed during the fascist regime. Instead of attempting to define neorealism in a strict sense, I will share some interpretations offered by other scholars and filmmakers. According to Elio Petri, neorealism became a way of knowing and an instrument leading to knowledge about reality. While for screenwriter Cesare Zavattini, it is the cinema of everyday life. filmmaker Vittorio De Sica described it as reality transposed into the realm of poetry. And for Ettore Scola, it was that new way of thinking and of seeing reality, born of a need to analyze ourselves and follow man and his vital problems. For the director of Rome Open City, Roberto Rossellini, neorealist cinema had to present reality while at the same time grasp the intelligence of things, because to give the true value to anything means to have apprehended its authentic and universal significance. Without adding theoretical digressions, I should at least briefly mention that the term neorealism was introduced initially as a literary designation in the 30s by Arnaldo Bocelli, and was Leo Longanesi in 1933 that called for a cinema of realism. But we have to wait until the 40s with Visconti's Ossessione, Rossellini's Rome Open City, and De Sica's Bicycle Thieves to have neorealist international renewed masterpieces. Some tips for the cinephiles in our audience. When watching a neorealist film, you should pay attention to the location of the shots. Many neorealist directors shot on location instead of inside the production studios. Pay attention to the use of Italian dialects, the presence of long takes with the predominance of medium and long shots, and a focus on working class protagonists and social issues, often with an implied social criticism. Some of these elements are not purely stylistic, but also owe to actual limitations dictated by the times, as in Rome Open City. So in the particular case of this film, it is important to consider that while Rossellini combines fact and fiction, the film is based on a true historical event combined with the tragic story of a priest named Giuseppe Morosini, played by Aldo Fabrizi. As we encounter the characters, it will be easy to divide them in two opposite categories that generate the increasing tension of the plot and its clear moral perspective. I would like to end with some reflections on the word resistance itself, since this is the theme of our film festival, and it is also at the center of a film like Rome Open City. Rome Open City is indeed a film about Italian resistance and the occupation and liberation of Italy. Although it's a very tragic film, I encourage you to reflect on the meaning of the final scene and the possibility that the film actually concludes on a positive note in which we can actually rethink and amplify the meaning of the term resistance. It is, I believe, at the end of the film that the film and its characters become monumental, and that was that we as an audience feel the responsibility to remember and tell the story in order to avoid such historical catastrophes in the future. Ultimately, it is at the end of the film that the word resistance gains another meaning, almost that of re-existence, as we are called upon to imagine a future existence that has been made possible thanks to the sacrifice of people that put aside their differences and beliefs and fought together for a better possible future. I hope you enjoy the film, and while we will not be able to hold a live discussion, I would be happy to continue the conversation and address any questions you might have. So please feel free to contact me by email at any time during the festival. Buona visione.